Hey, in this video, I'm going to talk about the DNS, like what actually DNS is and why does even it exist. And we will also talk about in this video why we actually study DNS for reconnaissance specifically, and as well as we will understand why DNS reconnaissance is legal rather than illegal. Okay, so we will understand all of these in this specific video, and in the next video, we will continue about the DNS. There's a lot of stuff in the DNS. So we will cover these things in this video and the rest in the second part. Okay. And if you don't know, this is the second part of the passive reconnaissance. In the last video that I have posted, it was about the one of the very first technique in passive reconnaissance, which is called the WHOIS. It's like gathering information about the website owner, admin, and a lot more. So if you are not watched, I will definitely recommend checking them out first. And now, without any further delay, let's get started. So first of all, let's understand what DNS is. DNS stands for domain name system, and it's like a phone book for the internet. What this mean is, let's say you have imagine you wants to store your friend's phone number. So what you do is you go to the phone app in your phone, and you enter the phone number and the friend name, and then click on the save. So when you want to call that friend next time, you just go to that app, search their name, and click on the call, right? So even if you don't want to save their name, just assuming you have one friend, you will easily remember their phone number, right? But let's take the example of 100 friend or 1,000 friend. So it will be very difficult to remember hundreds friend phone number or thousands friend phone number. You will have to do the similar thing. You will have to save all of their contact number with their name, so next time when you want to call any of them, you will just search their name. Okay, so let's understand this DNS now. Now when you type the google.com in your browser, your computer does not know what IP address google.com is. Your computer asks the DNS, the system that we are talking about, and asks that what's the IP address of the google.com. So the DNS has a hierarchical structure. There are a lot of stuff in the DNS system. So our computer, our browser asks from the DNS, what's the IP of google.com or any website that we wants to visit, and the DNS respond with the IP address of that website, of that server, and the browser just gets connected, send request to that server, right? So without DNS, we will have to remember IP addresses like these random number instead of google.com. With DNS, we just type google.com or facebook.com or youtube.com without even remembering the IP address of any of them, right? So let's understand now. Hope you get a little bit idea of what DNS is and how it works. Now let's understand how it evolved, like where did it come from, and let's understand. Okay, so in the early 1980s, the internet was tiny. Only a few hundred computers. There were only a few hundred computers. So let's say you want to visit, assuming we want to visit the MIT's computer or anything like google.com or anything back in the time. Okay, so we will ask what's the MIT's IP address, and we will get the IP address of that. Now if you want to visit the Stanford's computer, we will ask what's the IP of that, we will get that. Okay, same is the case for this guy. Because these are a few computers and everyone could easily memorize that. Okay, there was not any problem. But then the internet exploded by the 1990s. There were millions of computer, uh, right? So and by 20s billions, and today it might be trillions, right? So the problem here is that if you try to remember this much IP addresses or this much, it's impossible for human, right? So let's say you want to or go to the amazon.com, there is one IP you want to go to the google.com, there is another IP you want to go to the facebook.com, there is another IP. Same is the case for Netflix, your bank app, and a lot more website that you visit daily. So the solution was the DNS domain name system. This was invented because of the same reason, because human cannot remember the IP addresses of all of these websites. So instead of remembering with the DNS, instead of remembering the IP addresses, we just memorize the name, because it is easier for us as a human to understand the names easily rather than these numbers. And now we just remember the google.com or youtube.com without remembering their IP addresses. Okay, so this is how the DNS invented. Now let's talk about why the companies must make their public, the IP address is public. So when you go to when you want to buy a domain, like for example example.com, you go to the registrar which give you the domains like GoDaddy, Namecheap, and there are a lot of them. So you just enter your information, you they give you the domain. Now it creates the DNS record for your domain. Okay, and make those record public and global DNS database, the or all database system. So you see right here, they make them public, because if they don't, what the problem that will cause is, let's say you have a company and you want to have a website for that. So you want, like, we want to hide you, our DNS. So what you guys do is you don't make your DNS publicly registered. So if there is not any record of your domain, I mean the DNS information of your domain, nobody can access that. Because let's say your company name is example.com, and if I'm trying to type the example.com in the browser will ask the DNS system if the DNS your company DNS does not know your example.com IP address. I will not be able to connect to your server. I will not be able to visit your website, right? So this is why they have to make the DNS record public. Hope you understood this as well. Let's talk about the why we study the DNS in reconnaissance. So imagine you are security researcher, you are hired for to test a company security. What you do is you will need to understand their infrastructure first before you test anything. So either you do random guessing that their web server is on some specific IP, you just, and their email server is on another IP. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about the web server, these kind of thing in the second part, because these I have explained what I'm going to talk about already in this video. So I will be explaining these in the next video. Okay, now if you want to just guess trying to guess their infrastructure, it will be so difficult. The best option, the option we have, is to ask the domain name system, the DNS, because the DNS record of that domain, that company, is already being public. So it's easier to ask the DNS directly and it will give us, for example, what's what server does this company have, and the DNS will respond that this IP address, this IP address, this IP address, and I'm going to explain why there are multiple IPs. Okay, and we can also query DNS, what mail server do they have, we will get that. Same is the case for who manages their DNS, we will get the uh, DNS respond and see who manages their DNS, right? And from that we will understand the full infrastructure of that company. So based on that we will move further. Okay, now let's talk about why DNS reconnaissance is legal rather than illegal. So, is querying DNS legal? It's 100% legal. Here's why. Let's understand this. So, before that, let me give you okay example, the phone book example. So, in the 1980s, to this, there was a physical book that listed everyone's name, their address, their phone number, all publicly available in the phone book. So we could just easily look up someone in the phone book to get their name, their address, their phone number. It was completely legal. Now with the DNS, it's again the public record, the database, and it has all of the information about the domain website. So we can just simply ask the DNS that I have talked about. We'll get the company name, server location, email, server name, server who manages the DNS. These are all publicly available already, so they are legal. Okay, and in the next video I'm going to talk about the DNS record type. There are a lot of types, so we will understand all of these in the next video. So if you have any question for this video, I hope there will not be any question. Even if you have, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. See you soon.